Hello and welcome to Sjcartier Ltd Convos again. And today is I will be talking about the positives and negatives of buying and selling and whatnot. So again, this is all again my experiences. You can take from what you want from what I say, and you can leave from what I say, all depending on you and your situation and who you are, basically. I'd say. So yes, first the positives. Whatnot, one of the first positives is you do actually have a chance to snag bargains on there. So when I first started over coming up to 2 years now, so I say it's about a year and 8 months, 9 months I've been on Whatnot now. I actually started on there selling comics and buying comics. So yeah, I started selling comics. I was selling comics for a bargain. I was buying comics for a bargain. It was quite entertaining, quite fun. So yeah, it is very good exchange of comics, let's say, per se. Also with football cards, that's the only other place I have brought on, sold on, whatnot. I know you also can buy and actually sell a lot of bargains. So a lot of people do sell bargains on there, and also you are able to grab a bargain if you are lucky. Another positive about Whatnot, which I say is expanding more in the UK, but is a lot more vast in the US, is the variety of collectors you find. So it could be a collector that is a child, could be a collector that's 80 years old, it could be father and son, it could be mother and daughter, it could be brothers, could be work colleagues. There's a lot of variety of collectors of all variety of things on Whatnot. So you actually have an opportunity to connect with people around the world, let's say, for, for, for yeah, it's an easy way to connect to people around the world live, I'd say. So that's a very positive thing, as it's mostly collectibles. It's all about collectibles. So it's not about the everyday things that people may sell at car boots or general auctions. It's things that people actually like to collect. Another positive thing about Whatnot is it's quite fun. So I say, I spent a lot of money enjoying the comics, just watching comics, because you watch comics and it's kind of hard to see a cover and not kind of want to buy it, especially when you see it going for a little bit cheaper than it should be. So it's quite fun to see what comics are out there. It's also quite fun if you enter breaks, I'd say. So I actually have been entering breaks for the last year and a half and Whatnot, and I'd say that's been quite fun as well. It's also quite fun just watching without actually entering breaks and just watching people open boxes. On some occasions, you're not able to afford these boxes, a lot of us. So to actually just watch the entertainment and see people opening some fire cards, fire parallels from big sets is quite entertaining. Um, the negatives of Whatnot now, I'd say, is actually the community. So although the positives is you are able to connect with a lot of collectors, there is also a certain community of people that aren't collectors, who imitate themselves as collectors, who then kind of use the platform to kind of defraud actual collectors. So unless you actually know who you are supporting in just in life in general. So it's not just Whatnot. If you know who you're supporting, whether you're shopping online, whether you're shopping via Google, whether you're shopping via Facebook, TikTok, wherever you want to shop, whether you shop in person in your local town centre, your local shop, another town centre, you have to be careful who you support and why you support them. And that's something that I will say is kind of vast on there. The community is not very welcoming to the more positive sellers and more welcoming to the sellers that kind of extort the collectors, I'd say. But this again is my opinion, that from what I've watched over 2 years of being close to 2 years of being on Whatnot. I could expand on that, but I will expand on that later on in other videos. I would also say a negative to Whatnot is the amount of fake accounts. So as I say, a lot of people use Whatnot to kind of defraud other collectors, and they do this by also having a numerous amount of fake accounts. These fake accounts they use to influence or try to influence via the chat, dependent on who you are. They influence by, which is another negative of mine, fake bidding. So they will use their fake accounts to fake bid up prices, and so on some occasions they may not actually pay for that item if you don't bid anymore. So that means they just upbid you 10, 20, 30 pound for you to pay a little bit more, and that was the old aim, and they never had the money in their account. So yeah, you have to be very careful. I was quite lucky, I'd say, because I'd been to a lot of auctions. I'd come from auctions. As I say, I started my business at actual auctions. So understanding of how to bid, how much you want to bid, and knowing where you want to go, and just sticking to your limits I already had. I will say also there's a lot of gamblers on there, so you also have to recognize that not everybody is paying for a collectible value. A lot of people are paying for the gambling fun. So yeah, I will say that is one of the negatives: fake bids and fake accounts, and fake bidders. And I'd say another negative that I can say as a seller at the time was the fees. So as I say, yes, you can grab bargains, but also if you look at it from the seller's point of view, you also think the sellers are selling you bargains, and the fees that eBay were taking when I was selling at that time were quite extortionate, I'd say, considering the price some of these items were selling for. So I could have sold a key comic book for £1, or a numbered football card for £1, and I'd actually receive 50p. So like 50, 60p are average. And then when I consider the fact that I had to pay for my packaging of my items, I had to pay for my time on being on stream. And also, as I say, I like to ship fast. You'll get to know why I ship fast in future videos. But I like to ship my items immediately. So the fact of the service of me going straight after stream, packaging everything up and taking it immediately to drop off location, I felt 50p, 60p for some of these items is not enough for what I paid for them, even in the start. Because some of these, I went on there to actually sell collectibles that I wanted other collectors to have, who may not want to pay the price or understand the value. So even though I may have sold some comics for £2, £3, and I had them on my website for £5, £6, I'd actually make more from the £2, £3 than I would from the £5, £6, because on my website I also have to consider the fees. I also have to consider packaging and how my time and effort it took to me to list the items. So yeah, I will say the fees. So just on a quick one for with regards whatnot, the positives are you actually have a chance to snag a bargain. There's a lot of variety of collectibles for you to snag a bargain, and actually there's a lot of variety of sellers where you can grow your collections of whatever you fancy collecting. It's quite a fun experience to be on whatnot, depending on whose streams you are in. You have to be very careful, but obviously it is mostly a fun platform. The negatives, I'd say, is some of the community on there. It's not really welcoming to everybody. It's welcoming to who they feel they decide to want to be welcoming to. The other negatives are fake accounts and fake bidders. I'll put them together because they come simultaneously. They also come with people aren't strong enough to use their real accounts to say what's really on their mind, but they will use a fake account to try spread that rumour. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the fees as a seller. The fees were quite high at the time. I haven't sold on there for over a year now, I'd say. So I wouldn't know exactly what the fees are at this moment in time. But as I have been on whatnot still within the year and a half, I have actually seen that some sellers are still saying the fees are still quite high for sellers. So yes, those are the positive and negatives that I have gained in my experience from whatnot. I hope you enjoyed this, and hope to see you again. Sjcartier Ltd Convos.